Hey you guys, it's Sarah here. Welcome to my channel. I have a huge craft show coming up tomorrow. It's a show that I'm doing for the second time. It happens once a year in the small town that I'm in. It's a fall Apple Fest street fair with food and vendors, and the whole street closes down and vendors are there, and we get so many people from both in town and out of town. And I did it for the first time last year. It was my best craft show. I did the most sales and sold the most pages that I had ever sold before and since. So this is now my second year doing it. It's tomorrow. I'm super nervous. I have all of my stuff in bins, kind of all mixed up from just previous craft shows and not reorganizing it each time. And then I've made new stuff over the last couple of weeks in preparation for it. So I'm going to go and take everything out of my bins, lay it all out here on my couch at my table. So in case any of you wanted to see what I'm bringing, I don't even know exactly what I have, but I don't have time to make anything else. So I'm just gonna lay it all out here and I'll show you guys what I'm bringing to my show tomorrow. So I'll start with a bunch of cover pages, optional cover pages that people can buy. I made these over the last couple of weeks. I'll show you everything that I made over the last couple of weeks, and then I'll bring out stuff from my bins and we'll organize it. So I'm bringing a bunch of optional cover pages that have my business tags on them. That way if customers want to add a cover page to their book, they can. Some people want to, some people don't. I have 6 copies of my Itsy Bitsy Spider activity page. I have some of my number counting fingers activity pages, and I know I have more of these in my bins, but these were just the ones that I made this week. I made some peekaboo Elmos. I made some cookies in a cookie jar pages. I made some match the birds to the birdhouse activity pages. And a lot of these I will sell on my website, and then a lot of them I don't sell on my website. I just made them for fun to add for a variety of selection. I made 10 copies of the Feed the Fish activity page. I made a bunch of traffic light activity pages and some Brush the Hippo's Teeth activity pages. I did 8 Peel the Happy Banana activity pages, and I have some French Bulldog activity pages that I've made. I have 8 copies of the Cookie Monster activity page. I have more of them actually in my bins from previous craft shows as well, but that's what I made. This over the last couple weeks. I made these Hungry Worm and Apple activity pages. I made 5 of my color sorting rainbow activity pages, and I made 10 of my jellyfish activity pages. I made 6 of my elephant and balloon activity pages. I made 14 of my shape puzzle activity pages. I have 11 of my crinkle themed activity pages. And then I have a whole bunch of my car themed activity pages, and I did some just a single page, and then some I did my double-sided, so it's like a booklet page, so you have more more road space for the cars to go on. So I did I think I did 5 of those, and then 4 or 5 of the single page ones. I made 9 of these Flip the Sequins sensory activity pages. I made 3, 4, 5, 6 of these little funny lumpy soft circle sensory activity pages. And I made 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these colorful, fuzzy, soft activity pages. I made 12 of my I Spy activity pages with the tags. I made 12 of my donut box, oops, those are upside down, donut box with detachable donut activity pages. Got 12 of those. And then I made 11 of these mirror with the tag activity pages, and that completes all of the pages that I've been making over the last 2 weeks. So it took me 2 weeks. I can't tell you how many hours that all took me to make all those pages that I just showed you, but I made them over the course of 2 weeks. Let me take out the rest of the stuff that I had already made from my bins. I'm gonna bring it all out, organize it into their price categories, and then I'll show you everything that I've got for tomorrow. Okay, so it has been 45 minutes and I am regretting making this video because I've realized that I have so much stuff. I'm gonna turn my camera around you, and I'm running out of storage on my camera. I can see this video is gonna shut off any minute. I have so much stuff, but you have to remember, like for those of you who are maybe just starting out and you're thinking of doing a craft show and you've never done one before, this stuff, I've been working for the past 2 weeks to build this up. Plus, this has been like my base stock that I just go from show to show and replenish for the past like year and a half. So having said that, let me turn this around. So here are all of the pages, and you can see they're just sitting on my couch because I don't have space on the table. These are all going to be pages that I think I'm going to price these ones all on my $6 table. And you can see some of them I only have a couple, and some of them I have like a ton. You might be thinking, oh, I made a whole bunch of these kind because these are the most popular. No. I made a ton of these just because that's what I felt like making, and then I realized as I was unpacking all this that I actually had a ton already. And so the ones that I have a whole bunch of, those are just because I added those over the last couple of weeks. So the next time, for the next show that I do, I'm going to focus on replenishing these pages that you see like a smaller pile of. I'm going to focus on replenishing those ones and then not worry about these ones. Let's take a look at what's on my $8 table. Actually, this will not be $8. Okay, the rest of these I think I'm just going to put on my $8 table. It's going to be a smaller table, and I still have more to go through, but I'm just so tired now. Oh my gosh. Are all the pages that are going to be anywhere from $10, $12, $14. I have some of my bigger like finger puppet barn animal sets that you may have seen a video for. Those are going to be much higher. They're going to be $29. I've got a bunch of I Spy bags over there. And again, same deal. Like some of them you see the piles are really big. Some of them are not as big. It's just because some of them I worked on replenishing over the last 2 weeks and some of them I did not. So my intention was to write out the tags and tag them all. I need to take a break, and that's just going to take me too long. And I have these big bins. This is the big fancy way of what I use for storing the pages. So I put all of my $6 pages in one bin, all of my $8 pages in another bin, $10 in another bin. That's how I store and carry my product around. Okay, so look, this is the sorting I have to do over the next couple of hours. I price everyone individually, but wish me luck, and thanks so much you guys for watching. I'll let you know how the show goes. I know I'm going to be exhausted once it's all over, but I'll try to hop right back on here right after and let you know. So it has now been over a week since that market. I'm actually embarrassed to say exactly how much time it has taken me to get back to this video and complete it. I needed a lot of time to recover. It was a long, busy day. And I also kind of even debating posting this video just because this market is such a big market that is hosted every year by my town, and there are thousands of people there. It's not your everyday market. And so I kind of don't, it's not an accurate reflection of how all markets go. This one always goes particularly well. This is not how all of my average small town markets go, but I'll let you know how it went. It was very, very busy. I did this was my second year in a row doing this Apple Fest street fair market. Last year I did better actually. Last year I had sold $1,400 worth of product, and I believe I did about 44 sales that year. This year, I only did $1,000 worth of sales, about $1,000, and did about 35 sales. So it was actually worse than last year. I was hoping for more than last year. I don't know why. I feel like I had better pages, and I haven't increased my prices particularly. I think that, I don't know. I don't know why it did better last year, but I'll try it again next year, hopefully, if I get approved. And I'll let you guys know how it goes next year. And I'm sorry I didn't film myself setting up or anything like that. I did take some pictures of my setup though, so I'll start by sharing this first photo, which is just a picture of how the pages finally look once I got them all organized and into my bins. I just have these big plastic tote bins that I group my pages together and I put them in. I have a bin. I think I had 2 bins for my $6 pages, and then I would just tuck them away under my table that had the pages on for $6. I had a bin for all my $8 pages and some bins for my $10 pages, and a bin for the pages that were even more than $10. And then that way, as my customers took the pages, I could just pull the bin right out from underneath and replenish the page that they took. Here is a photo of what my booth looked like. You can see it's just a U shape. It is nothing fancy. I have tried fancy displays before. By fancy, I mean like having nice vertical displays, having like an assortment of different like heights. But I just, in the end, after doing that for over a year, and trying different things, because I really like that feeling that you get when you go into a booth and there's a vertical height. It just makes you feel like you're in a little shop, and it draws people in as well. But the practicality of it is that I just find it better to have everything laid out and flat, because the thing is, when customers are seeing what a page does, it's more awkward for them to, like, if it's a vertical display, they have to like play with it when it's sitting vertically, but it's a book and it's meant to be played with like in your lap, laying down flat. And some of the pages you can't, like, they just don't work well if you have them displayed like that. And so I like them just laid out flat on the table. It makes setup and takedown super quick and easy, because these are not breakable. You don't have to be gentle with them. They're lightweight, and literally you just whip them out and lay them out on the table. Here is what my $6 table looked like. Sorry, I'm just looking at it on my computer now as I speak. So you can see the pages that I had for $6. Some of them in the past I had listed for more, and I still had some left over, and either they weren't selling for that higher price, or I just needed to fill up my $6 table, so I decided to make one of them a little bit lower than what I normally would sell it for. Or I'm just not going to be making those pages anymore. And you'll notice too that I don't have any price tag. Like, I don't individually price my pages. I just have that sign up there, build a books. You can see it in the corner there, that says $6, and I added a little plus sign as well, because some of the other pages on the other tables are more. And you can see, you can just take a minute to look at the pages that I've included there if you're curious. You might see as well in the corner, I have that red polka dot, like a little box with pages standing up. Those are just optional, my optional cover pages. And you can see that for the most part, the $6 pages are just kind of more simple. There's a lot of sensory based, like purely fabric pages. I usually include, I would say, about 5 or 6 purely fabric pages, so that when parents come and they ask, what do you recommend for a newborn? Really, for a newborn, it's you just want, or for a baby, you just want the pure sensory fabric pages. So you can see the sequence page there. You can see a crinkle page there. Any of those pages that have the big circle cut out in the center, and then it's got a different textured fabric in them. There's the classic mirror with the tags. And then some of my other pages that I do that are just kind of more simple. I have a peel a banana. I usually include those. The hippo, the traffic light, the apple, the shoes. Those are kind of staples that I always include for $6. It's not that they're necessarily the most popular. It's just that I also sell those on my website. And so those are the ones that I choose to always make sure that I have. But to be honest, they don't sell any better than the other pages that you'll see on that table. And while I'm talking about that subject as well, I've had people ask me, what are your most best-selling pages? And I really don't have, I thought that when I started this, there would be like people choosing the same pages over and over again. Like I was curious myself as to what those would be, but I've actually found that that's not the case. With the exception of my sequins activity page, I find that that one is really popular, and because it's so low in cost to make, I always include that one. But other than that, everybody honestly chooses something different, and it just depends on what I have out on display, because in each craft show that I go to, I have different pages on display, because I do this YouTube channel now, I have my Patreon now, and I really like creating new pages. Otherwise, I end up getting kind of bored. And so part of it is I'm always creating new pages, and so then I have new pages on display, and people just pick from what's on display. And because that changes from one craft show to the next, I don't have certain pages that are like my best sellers. I just have people just kind of buy whatever I have on display. They choose from what's there. They choose what they like best from what's there. And I realized people's preferences are just totally different. And like sometimes I'll get some recommendations, or someone will say, oh, do you have a penguin? And then I think, oh, maybe penguins are cool right now. And it's like, no, that person just happened to have a child who happens to be obsessed with penguins. And so I could make penguin pages and maybe that one person would buy that penguin page. It really just depends on the individual and what their, like every child has this weird random and favorite animal or favorite color or favorite thing at that moment. And so it just really depends on the person and what pages are speaking to them for their child. Let's look at in the center, you can see like there's my Build a Book by Bambino Busy Books. I've finally made myself a little, what are they called? Like table display things. I normally have it hanging over my table, but this one I hung it because I had my tent set up. I hung it from my tent and then I could sit in that red chair, and that is the middle table that I have for pages for $8. Lastly, let's go to the final table here. You can see there's a table here that there's a sign in the corner that says $10 a page. So this just made it super easy. When people came up, they could see these big signs right away, and I was able to say every page on this table is $6. These ones are $8, these ones are $10. Pick from whichever you want, and I'll connect the pages with binder rings to make a little book. And then there were some pages at the end, like at the front of that $10 table, where I did have them individually priced. You can't see, I don't think you can see the individual price tags in the photo, but about halfway down the table, you might be able to see that there's some tags on them where I have to charge maybe $12, $14. Some of them I was charging like up in the 20 something dollars for different activities and different pages there. Overall, I'm so happy with how that show went. It was really busy. I consider it a great success. Very happy with it. I had a great time and I didn't have any major issues. I did have some troubles with my Square machine, the electronic machine that people can pay with debit or credit. It was very, kept going in and out, and some people I had to ask them to send me an Interac e-transfer, and there was quite a few of those people who were not able to do it on the spot and they didn't have cash on them. So that's always awkward, but because this was in my own town, literally a couple of blocks from my home, and it's just a very small neighborly town that I live in, a really nice little town. And so because of that, when that happened, I asked them, I gave them what they wanted, and I just asked them, when you get home, can you please, like, here's my email and here's what you owe me. When you get home today and you have a minute, just send me an Interac e-transfer. And they did. I didn't have anybody take my stuff and then go home. I had 5 people who I had to ask them to send me an e-transfer, and they all kept their word. Now that's not something that I would be comfortable doing just anywhere. That was, I think, unique to this small town kind of culture. But if I was in a bigger city, a city that is not where I myself live, I don't think I would have been comfortable doing that. And so that was kind of annoying, and that would have definitely cost me some sales because of my Square reader glitching and not staying connected. I don't know why. I haven't had that issue with it before. And then other than that, I didn't have any issues. There are sometimes moments where it's quiet, and then some moments where there's just a ton of people in my booth, like 5 different parents looking at the books and taking them off the table. That's always really hard because the way that I normally do it is I get a customer, they pick the pages they want, they pay, they leave, and then I pull my bins out and I replenish the missing pages. Well, when you have 5 people looking for pages all at once, that makes it really hard. And then sometimes people will take a page, they're holding on to it and they're choosing more, and then they might put a page back, or they put a page back in the wrong spot. And so those were some challenges of being in a bigger, more busy market, is that sometimes you're constantly scanning and making sure pages are in the right place. And when there's a lot of customers in there, the space is really tight. So that was probably the biggest challenge that I had. But that doesn't normally happen because normally the shows are just not that busy. They're just smaller, quieter shows. Having said that, I would love it if all my shows were that busy, and it might be worth it just focusing on those super busy shows. Also, another huge blessing was that we had really nice weather that day. It was an outdoor event, rain or shine. And so, oh my gosh, can you imagine getting your stuff set up if it was pouring rain and stormy? It would have sucked so much. And when that happens, like when things like that go wrong, it really makes you question, is this something I really want to do again? Because I was talking with my neighbor and she said she had done it one year where it was pouring rain and it was just awful because you're there for the rest of the day in the cold and you're soaked and you can't leave your booth. And if you do have someone helping you and who is able to watch your booth while you go home, that's a bonus, but chances are you don't have that option. They might not necessarily live in this town, and the whole street is closed. So it's not like you can just walk over to your parked car. Like, you have to park your car blocks over and out of the street, and you can't just like pack up and go home or anything. Like, you're there. So thankfully the weather was really nice. It was a great day, and I really can't complain. It went really well. So coming up next week, I have a show that is much smaller. It is actually another street fair, another Apple Fest, but it's in a different city. And I'm not actually on the street. I'm going to be set up in a market store. It's a store where I'm actually have my products displayed in so people can go to the store and buy my products, but they also host craft shows inside their store. Like, they have a big open space where they let vendors set up tables and sell their things. And so on this day, on this Apple Fest day, I have one table, just a 6-foot table, where I'm going to have some pages on display and I will be selling them. So no, I don't have as big of a display, and it probably won't be as busy because I won't be out on the street. However, I'm not upset about it at all. I don't have to set up my tables. I don't have to set up my tents. I just have to bring my product and put it on display. And I don't have to worry about if it's storming outside, like if the weather is bad. I'll be inside, and that would actually probably maybe even work out better because more people will want to come inside of the store to catch a break from the rain. So I don't mind that it's like that. I'm looking forward to it, and I will try to make sure that I share what my table looks like when I do that one, because I know some of you have asked me if I could show my display, and I don't like that I've shown this display, like this big display that I did for this particular show, because probably most of you and most craft shows, you don't get that big of a space. You just get one 6-foot table, and that's how most of my shows are too. So when I do that one, I'll show you guys what pages I'm including. I won't have all of the pages out on display that I had here. Obviously, I won't have space, but I will still have a good number, probably 30 pages. Most of them will be $10 and under. So it'll probably be a lot of pages for $6 and then some pages for $10. And then I'm also working on some newer pages. So you'll see, I'm not even totally sure yet what I'm going to bring. I'm going to be working on that this week. So I'll do a video sharing that with you guys. Okay, thanks so much for watching, you guys. And I hope this helps. And I really appreciate all your support. And I will see you in the next video.